Let me ask you something and be honest with yourself. Have you ever been in a church service surrounded by people who seem completely dialed in while you feel like you're a million miles away? You're standing, you're singing the words on the screen, but you're not really there. You're watching yourself go through the motions and a quiet question is echoing in your mind. Am I the only one feeling like something is off? If that question resonates somewhere deep inside of you, I want you to know that you're not alone. That feeling is exactly where we're going to start off today. For many of us, it begins as a slow drift. The Sunday routine becomes just that, a routine. It's muscle memory. You stand when everyone stands. You sit when everyone sits. You know the rhythm of the service so well that your body can go through the motions even when your heart isn't in it. You hear the preacher's voice rise with passion, and you see the expected emotional responses in the room, but you feel nothing. Or worse, you feel a quiet sense of detachment, like you're an actor who has forgotten their motivation. And the worst part is the guilt that comes with it, right? You look around and think, they're all connecting. What's wrong with me? And you start to feel like an imposter in your own faith. I grew up playing organ in church, and so I had a front row seat to that feeling. Not just one church. I played everywhere. Baptist, Methodist, Presbyterian, Kojic, Apostolic, you name it. I even played at a few Catholic churches, Sister Act style. And I played my part perfectly while watching everyone else play theirs too. The raised hands at the right moment, the perfectly timed amens, the Sunday smiles that never quite reach the eyes. When you grow up as a pastor's kid playing in churches across denominations, you see behind every curtain. You watch the whole production get assembled every week, and sometimes what you see makes you question everything. And maybe this is what you've seen too. We look at the people leading us and we get the impression that they have it all figured out and admire their closeness to God. While many are sincere, we can't shake the feeling that some of them are just playing a part. It's that sense that something is off. And for those of us who have been behind the curtain, we've watched the machinery get assembled, and we start to wonder if we're the only ones who see it. Turns out, we're not. Jesus had a word for this exact feeling. He looked at the most religious people of his day, the ones that had it all figured out, and said, "You're like tombs that are painted white. They look beautiful on the outside, but inside they're full of dead people's bones and every kind of impurity." In that same passage, he calls them show-offs, which from the Greek, we get the word hypocrites. It literally means an actor under an assumed character. He wasn't just calling them fake. He was calling out their entire act. It was a full-scale production, so convincing that even the actors could get lost in their own script. The outward display was everything. Sound familiar? For many of us, it works. But for others, there's an experience that shatters the whole thing, the one that makes it impossible to keep pretending. That quiet disconnect is one thing, but for many of us, there comes a day when the routine is no longer just empty. It's painful. It's the day the story you've been told breaks apart in your hands. Maybe for you, it wasn't one big event, but a death by 1,000 cuts, the subtle judgments, the easy answers to your hard questions, the feeling of being fundamentally misunderstood by the people who were supposed to care the most. Or maybe it was a single shattering moment. The moment you realized the people you trusted weren't safe. For me personally, that moment came in a single sentence on a car ride. I was 13 years old, sitting in the backseat, and I hear my dad casually tell my mom that one of his colleagues, a pastor whose voice I associated with safety and authority, had just gotten a 16-year-old girl from his own church pregnant. My world went silent. The floor didn't just crack, it vanished. My hands kept playing the organ on Sundays, but my soul went into hiding. You see, nobody hands you a manual for what to do when the same hands that baptized babies were destroying a teenage girl's life. But looking back now, a verse from Jeremiah stands out. "Can anyone hide in secret places so that I cannot see them?" declares the Lord. Don't I feel heaven and earth? The Hebrew word for hide in this verse is satar. It doesn't just mean to hide. It carries the sense of trying but failing to hide. That was me. All those Sundays sitting at the organ, feeling nothing. My heart checked out completely. I thought I was hiding, but he was there. Not demanding that I feel something, not rushing my process, just there, waiting, present, even in my absence. Then came a different kind of moment. I was late for church one Sunday and rushed out of the house, letting the door click shut behind me. My keys were in the house. This was before cell phones, so I was panicking. I twisted the handle, pulled, and I jiggled it. Nothing. I tried it again and again, dozens of times as if it was gonna open. I'm pacing back and forth in the yard, totally frustrated. Then, the moment I stopped, I heard a voice, not churchy, not dramatic, just clear. Go back and open the door. Okay. Thought to myself, I just tried that though. But I walked back anyway. I calmly turned the handle, still locked. Then I just pulled, and the door opened. In total shock, I walked inside and I shut it behind me. I immediately tried the handle again, locked solid. I jiggled, I pushed, nothing. It was completely locked. And then it hit me. This is how God often works. Not in the big expected ways, but in the quiet, unexplainable moments. This wasn't the predictable God I was accustomed to seeing. This was the God who showed up when everything else falls apart. That locked door was my burning bush. And for the first time, this wasn't the God of one denomination, only to be different in the next. This was my God. Maybe your locked door isn't a piece of hardware. Maybe it's the church trauma that has you convinced all religion is a scam. The one relationship that completely shattered your ability to trust anyone. The childhood wounds that whisper you'll never be good enough. The voice in your head that insists all men will hurt you or no woman can be trusted. These aren't just negative thoughts. They're locks. Heavy, industrial strength locks that feel permanent. And they come with receipts, don't they? The pastor who abused their power, the parent who never showed up, the partner who betrayed you. Your trauma isn't just in your head. Those locks are real. This is the part that changed everything for me. The lock can be real and still not have the final say. My front door, it stayed locked. The mechanism never changed, but I still got to the other side. Look, if you don't get anything else from this, I want you to grab hold to these truths. These aren't just lessons I've learned, they're lifelines I'm throwing to you. So let's be clear about a few things. Your walls aren't weakness, they're evidence. You see, people will judge you for being guarded. Let them. Those walls you built did their job. They kept you safe when you were under attack. Don't apologize for them, thank them. They are monuments to what you survived. Your inability to just get over it isn't failure. You know what just get over it really means? It means your pain is making me uncomfortable, so please hide it. Some doors are supposed to be locked. They're reminders. You're not failing because you can't forget. You're winning because you're learning to walk with a limp. What broke you doesn't get to keep breaking you. The pain from the past had its moment. It got the starring role for a season, but that season is over. It is part of your history, just not the headline. Your trauma is real, but it's not your destiny. Let's get one thing straight. The wound is a fact. It happened. It's part of your story. But a fact is not a prophecy. Your destiny is the part you're writing right now. Don't let a fact from your past dictate the truth of your future. You don't need the lock's permission to move forward. So many of us are sitting by the door, just waiting to feel better, waiting for trust to magically come back, waiting for a sign. Stop waiting. You're giving the lock the keys to your own future. You don't need to feel brave to be brave. You just need to take one step. So what if my doubts never go away? Good. Certainty is underrated and it's boring. It's just dead. Doubt means you're still alive, still thinking, still fighting. It's the space where you stop borrowing someone else's faith and start building your own. A faith that can't handle your questions was never worth having in the first place. How am I supposed to trust God when church is what traumatized me? You don't, not at first. For years, they sold you God and the church as a package deal. So it's okay to be pissed off that the packaging was broken and the product was a lie. So forget the institution. Try to find your community. Jesus spent most of his time with the people the church had already thrown out. So you're in good company. What if I just need to walk away from it for a while? Then walk. Seriously. God isn't trapped in a building. He met Moses in the desert, David in a cave, and Elijah in the silence. So trust me, he's used to finding people in the wilderness. Is God disappointed in my anger? No, far from it. Look at the prophet Habakkuk. He started his book by essentially screaming at God. How long do I have to call you for help before you listen? God wasn't disappointed. He engaged. He answered. Why? Because Habakkuk was being honest, not polite. Think about your best friend. Do you want them to pretend everything is okay, or do you want the real, messy story? Your questions, even your anger, are forms of intimacy. It shows you still care enough to fight. God isn't afraid of your honesty. He's just tired of you pretending. Will I ever feel whole again? Yes, but whole isn't going to look like brand new. It's going to look like survived. It's going to have scars, and that's better than okay. Scars mean you've healed. Wholeness isn't about being perfect. It's about being all there, scars, breaks, and all, and not being ashamed of it. So maybe you're standing at your locked door right now, trying to make sense of the church hurt, waiting for the trust issues to go away, hoping the pain will just vanish. And maybe you've been told over and over that you have to fix the lock before you move on. But what if God is whispering the same thing to you that he whispered to me? Go back to the door, not because it's unlocked, not because the hurt is gone, but because locks, even ones forged by trauma, do not have the power to keep you from your breakthrough. Your trauma is valid. Your hurt is real. The lock exists, but so does the God who specializes in getting his people to the other side of impossible doors. The lock is real, but it doesn't have the final word.